Welcome to Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len Schroeder.
And I'm Julio Zamora.
This past Tuesday, September 26th, was Johnny Appleseed Day. Was Johnny Appleseed a myth or a real person? You'll find out in our first segment.
It's time to feed your lawn and landscape. Listen to our advice for an incredible yard and garden during our second segment.
Our third segment is going to be a real stinker. Skunks, moles, voles, and groundhogs can be a big problem. We'll give you some tips that don't stink.
A regular listener, Jim, from North Arlington, called the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and asked about covering his garden. Hear what he had to say during our fourth segment.
Julio received a surprise visit from a longtime listener, Howard Kozak from Staten Island. Harold's passion is for carnivorous plants. He was in town visiting his son, CBS 3 meteorologist Andrew Kozak. Hear all about his visit in our final segment.
So stay tuned and we'll be right back in the garden right after these messages. Bloomers in the Garden is brought to you each week by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers is an award-winning garden center just 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Bloomers has been providing expert advice turning brown thumbs green for over 30 years. At Bloomers, we want you to ask us every question, even if you think it's silly. We share information in a friendly, non-judgmental way that is meant to teach and spread the joy of gardening. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center in Washington Township, Gloucester County. For directions, go to bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
Fertilome's Triple Action contains 70% neem oil and 0.25% pyrethrins as a concentrate and ready to spray. It is an insecticide, fungicide, and miticide labeled to use on vegetables, fruits, nuts, herbs, spices, and ornamentals. This organic OMRI-listed product controls a wide variety of insect pests and diseases, including aphids, scale, spider mites, whiteflies, rust, leaf spot, and powdery mildew. This insecticide is an all-in-one bottle that will cure just about any problem you may run into throughout the year. Fertilome's Triple Action has been helping gardeners across the country for years. Best to apply in late evening and early morning hours. Mix 1 ounce, which is equivalent to 2 tablespoons in a gallon of water. The best part is Triple Action may be used up to the day of harvest. So the next time you are visiting your favorite garden center, ask for Fertilome's Triple Action and expect to have the best-looking plants in the neighborhood.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or see and hear us by subscribing to Bloomers YouTube channel. Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley every Saturday. First, wake up with us at 6 a.m. on WNWR The Word at 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. Tune in at 8 a.m. to Bloomers in the Garden Radio on Talk 860 WWDB. A rebroadcast of Bloomers in the Garden Radio is played each Saturday evening at 5 p.m. on The Word, 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard throughout the New York Tri-State Area on Classic Oldies, 1250 AM WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Hey, welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden.
There we are.
So, Bloomers in the Garden this past Tuesday, Johnny Appleseed Day. So, a real person.
Wow.
You know the whole thing where Johnny Appleseed planted seeds all over.
All over, yeah.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing, huh?
John Chapman, better known as Johnny Appleseed, was born in Massachusetts on September 26th, 1774. Now, I'll tell you, it's an amazing story because his father, Nathaniel Chapman, was a Minuteman, fought in the Revolutionary War, served with George Washington, but John's mother, Elizabeth, died shortly after the Declaration of Independence was signed. And Nathan Chapman were married after the war and had 10 children.
Is that all?
10.
Oh, my gosh.
John and his half-brother journeyed west around 1792, just about 5 years after the Constitution was ratified. And they lived as vagabonds. And that's how often you see, him depicted, Johnny Appleseed, like with the pot on his head for a hat, things like that. And that they eventually had some of their siblings join them in Ohio. And again, think about this time. This was the wilderness in Ohio. That was a frontier back in those days. So 1805, they started a family farm. So the legend begins where Johnny Appleseed, John Chapman left the family farm and signed on as an apprentice from an orchard owner named Crawford. That was his last name. That's where it all started, huh? That's where it all started. Mm-hmm. But it's where fact and fiction was intertwined. Like they show this guy like free seeding apple seeds, but that's not exactly how it happened. Yeah. He was no dummy. Again, you get it all across Pennsylvania, and he had a unique outlook on life because of his religious training. Okay. He basically started selling seeds and starting orchards for people. But the interesting thing is like, if think of an apple that you're going to eat, right? I'm going to give me a nice, delicious apple, or, now I guess what's the most popular?
Golden Delicious?
Honeycrisp.
Honeycrisp, yeah.
Honeycrisp. I mean, you can't get away. Like, every apple tree we saw are Honeycrisp, it seems like. That's what people want. His apples were not for eating. He planted tart splitters, named for that. You took a bite of one and it made sour. It was made for making hard cider and applejack.
There you go. We like that.
It was a more valuable crop than the edible apples.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, and he did not graft trees. He only uses seed, and that I thought was, and it was varieties only like, and that some things like. Let's see, it's the hardy American apple, delicious, golden delicious. He also used those as well. But since apples are grafted, it all goes back to his religion. It's confusing because where it's part true and part, I guess, myth. But all of the things were true that he planted apple seeds and apple orchards where he was going. And he would teach his clients how to protect the orchard from deer and livestock. And once the nursery was thriving, he'd move on to the next person interested in starting an orchard. So he really started orchards, not just planting seeds. And he was kind of weird where he'd erect like a teepee type structure and live on the ground, the bare ground, not like in a bed or a cot. He only had things that he could carry, like he had a bowl and a spoon and a pot.
That's it.
And that was it. It wasn't like he,
simple life.
Beyond simple. Beyond simple. Yeah. He ended up getting paid, and he charged based on what his clients could afford. So if you were wealthy, guess what? You're getting hosed. You're paying a lot. Right. But if you were somebody who was starting out and didn't have much, he would adjust his prices down. And it's his, like, again, it hit, like, if you go into, like, I can remember seeing Johnny Appleseed in, like, nursery rhyme type of things and kids' books and stuff. And his actual, the way that he looked in those were actually true to life. Oh, wow. You'd think that would be part of the myth part, but it's not. Yeah. It's not. Let's see, the Church of Swedenborg. That's where he belonged. It's a Christian denomination. It was established in 1787. So it was actually a pretty new denomination. And that it's you can't it's basically, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, don't hurt anything. You know, animal rights, vegetarian. And again, it's another part of like, you know, not grafting trees and only using seeds. And that it was something that he followed. And in his writings, he actually, you know, wrote all about that. It was within that faith and that, I guess, part of Christian denomination. Pretty interesting. I mean, he would treat all animals with kindness. Mosquitoes, he wouldn't kill mosquitoes, rattlesnakes.
So if you bit them,
and it's,
wow, that's amazing.
The life of religion is to do good, and that was their fundamental doctrine.
So he saw things as all good.
Yep. Even me, Julio.
Even you.
If he only knew. But he also, so he ended up retiring later in life and kind of mixed the gospel message with his own nomadic lifestyle. And a dynamic speaker, local residents would gather and to hear him speak. And you think about what he saw, because those years, again, he's on the edge of the wilderness. So he ended up dying in 1845, an extremely rich man, leaving over 1,200 acres of nurseries to his sister.
Wow.
He deprived himself of material comforts to the end and continued to speak about the new church of Swedenborgians. Pretty interesting.
He had a ministry there, huh?
Yes, he did.
He
did. Interesting, amazing story. That where, I don't know. Do they teach this stuff in school anymore? No.
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
Where?
Yeah, my son learned about Johnny Appleseed last year.
Oh, he did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow,
And
that's
they came
great.
home, they had the whole fake pot hat thing going on.
Great.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'll give it to you this way. My son also did go to a Catholic school last year also. So maybe they taught him the religious implications of Johnny Appleseed's mission and, you know, the things that he did along the way and the people that he reached, you know, while spreading the message. So it wasn't completely lost, you know.
Oh,
but
that's great.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
great.
That's great.
I don't know about the public
You hear
school.
so many bad things, you know,
Sure.
that are getting taught, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just, this is a great message. You know, and it ties right into what we do.
Right.
And again, you can grow fruit trees.
That's right. Yeah, really. And he started nurseries, which is amazing.
Yeah, and that's what he did. He didn't really just drop seeds around.
Right.
He actually started the nurseries for people.
Yeah.
might I add, the pot on the hat, for him to be a vagabond, man, that was fire drip, man. That hat was off the chain. I'm not gonna lie. That's some style right there.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Johnny Appleseed style right there.
Never quite thought of that, but again, this culture today,
Yeah.
you know, where you talk about people that are climate crazy and everything else, where this guy was ahead of his time,
Yeah,
Way ahead of his time.
right? Oh well. So Johnny Appleseed is the real deal.
For sure.
We'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
Are you looking forward to a spring of vibrancy while using the best organically approved growing media for your annuals and vegetables? Coast of Maine's Sprout Island Organic Seed Starter has been created to set a diverse culture ideal for germinating seeds and root cuttings. Created using the best ancient composting techniques and new age mixing devices, Sprout Island Organic Seed Starter gently combines kelp meal, worm castings, mycorrhiza, perlite, and sustainably harvested peat moss, establishing the most desirable setting to enhance new plant growth. Coast of Maine's Sprout Island Organic Seed Starter is available at these local retailers, or visit www.coastofmaine.com to locate one near you. Sickles Market, Little River, New Jersey. Espen Shades Garden Centers and Greenhouse, Fleetwood, Pennsylvania. Pickering Valley Feed and Farm, Exton, Pennsylvania.
James, won't you turn that old iPad off and come on over here and listen to the radio with Pop-Pop? I'm sure we can find something to listen to.
Okay.
Let me see here.
It's going to be another scorcher out here today. It's those doggone dog days of summer with temperatures topping out in the high 90s.
God dog it, made me drop my doggone coffee.
Pop, what's the dog day?
Well, James, it's funny that you asked that question because every dog has its day. And the dog days of summer is a magical time at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center, where they've got the nerve, the unmitigated gall. You'll learn about those words a little bit later on, to slash prices all over the place. I'm talking crazy numbers here. $50 off all Ludgood Japanese maple trees. 50% off all shade trees, camellias and oak leaf hydrangeas. Even all their fruit trees are 50% off. That's not all their nursery has to offer. 75% off French lilac hybrids. 75% off snow sprite cedar, tricolor willow, and enoki cypress. Meet petite knockout roses for $15.99 each or 2 for $25 to wrap up the dog days of summer with these pawsome blowout deals. You see what I did there?
I guess that Bloomer's Pop, you're barking up the right tree.
You've been hanging around your pawpaw for too long. You're starting to sound just like me. Yeah, I see what you did there, young man.
For more information, check out bloomers.com. You've got to see this place.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. The best thing you can do for your lawn or landscape is to feed them right now.
Right now.
This is the time.
Go to your local garden center and bring a little bit of soil from throughout your lawn and get a pH test. pH is going to be a level. You want it to be as close to neutral, which is 7, as possible. If you have 6 or lower, you absolutely want to apply lime or something from Jonathan Green called Magical to adjust that pH so that it brings it back up. In our listening area, most of the soils are going to be slightly acidic. That's great for landscape plants, but not so great for lawns. Here's the deal with pH. pH at a neutral level, or let's just say whatever that plant's requirement is, that if you don't have it at that pH or close to that pH range, that your plant will not be able to absorb nutrients from the soil because they'll be locked up and they can't distribute it to the plant, that it just won't release to the plant. So you need to adjust that soil, and especially with lawns, you need to get that pH closest to 7 as possible. And, feeding and fertilizing is great, but if your pH is off, you're wasting money and you're wasting time because your plants can't absorb it. And this goes right back to, mycorrhiza. Give this story to our listeners about how mycorrhiza, pH, and plants and roots all interact.
Yeah, what Len's talking about is it's called a symbiotic process, and they all work together, in conjunction with each other, and that needs to happen in order for the root systems to grow properly. And like Len was saying, the mycorrhiza is a key because of the fact that it's a fungi that, that works, again, in conjunction with the root systems, and that fungi will make those root systems spread out even more so.
Right. And I think of them as if you can just imagine, if every root hair on a plant had a mouth. And the fungi is that we're talking about, mycorrhiza, is that mouth. And that bites into the soil, gets the nutrient, and transfers it to the plant. Right. Where it's not necessarily the root that's sucking up the soil, it's the transfer in that mycorrhiza from the nutrient value to the plant, and that's the gatekeeper. And that a lot of the fertilizers, almost every fertilizer that a spoma has mycorrhiza in it. So, and that's why Espoma, we talk about Espoma. Yes, they are a sponsor, but my God, they are the best fertilizers that are out there, cutting edge. They just do a great job. So let's talk about the lawn. Do you need to fill in bare spots? That's a question. With all of the analysis, like, we talk about the numbers on the bag, it's nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, NPK, up, down, all around. So you're looking for those numbers to be lower on that first number as opposed to spring where you're looking for that to be a heavier number. So if you're putting down any of the fall fertilizers, except the ones that say weed and feed or anything like that, because they do have fall weed and feeds, you can fertilize it. So as long as it doesn't say weed and feed, you can put down grass seed without any fear. But do not put down grass seed and then put something down that says weed and feed, because you'll kill all that grass seed when it germinates. So you want to avoid doing that. I would say our favorite is from Jonathan Green. Again, they've had multiple types of fall. They have a couple of different names, but Fall Magic and that the one that any of the Jonathan Green fall fertilizers are going to be good. To be quite honest with you, a lot of them are going to be good because it's all about that fall analysis. It's the proportions of fertilizer that are for the fall, and there's no mysticism about it. It's not like, you need these numbers or you need those numbers. In the fall, it's all about building roots, and that's what it's all about. If you have crabgrass, don't spray any crabgrass. Now it's too late. You missed it because crabgrass is going to die the first frost. It's going to drop its seed, so you darn well better put down a crabgrass control at least twice in the spring, probably about 6 weeks apart. But crabgrass is going to die on its own. There are a handful of weeds that will overwinter, but to be honest, I'm not too concerned about having some overwintering weeds. I am concerned about making sure we can get some grass seed started. And that you need to make sure that you're doing that at this time of the year. Now, we talked about landscape plants, right, Julio?
Oh, yeah.
Hollytone. Espoma, Hollytone. Just do every landscape plant that you have. If you have some perennials that are mixed in there, or some varieties of plants that are a little more alkaline, like last week we were talking about lilacs. Like even lilacs will handle a little higher pH. Use a Espoma plant tone for your perennials and any of your higher pH requirement plants, because that will not adjust your pH. Where a Espoma Hollytone will maintain your pH at a little bit lower level. Not extreme. Like, don't think you're going to put it on, all of a sudden it's going to go from 7 to 5. No, it just basically will maintain it. If you need to adjust your pH, that's going to be a different thing. If you have hydrangeas and you really want your hydrangeas blue, you want to use aluminum sulfate at this time of the year, because you want the plant to absorb it and put it into the soil now so that it's absorbing it when all of this root action is taking place. It's a great time to feed. Don't miss out. Don't miss the opportunity, because your plants and your landscape will be so much nicer in the spring for what you do now.
Beautiful.
Anything to add, Hul?
No, now's the time, like Len said.
Get her done.
It's still gardening.
Get her done.
Still gardening out there, folks.
That's right. We'll be right back right after this.
Are you looking to reach an audience of over 12 million residents in the Philadelphia, Delaware Valley, and New York City Tri-State? Then consider becoming a broadcast sponsorship partner for Bloomers in the Garden. Every week on Bloomers in the Garden Radio, your products become associated with the authority in everything lawn, landscape, and garden. For more information on the Bloomers in the Garden Partnership Program, feel free to call the hotline 609-685-1880 or check out the radio tab at bloomers.com.
Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with their #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit Espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
If you're like me, then you absolutely love birds. The Bird Sanctuary at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center has you covered. They're dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds of all sorts. Want to bring more birds to your yard? Then you got to see this place. Bloomers has a huge flock of feeders, birdhouses, birdseed, and much, much more. Want to feed the birds and not the squirrels? They have this absolutely cool bronze bird feeder that will drive those sneaky squirrels nuts. They'll be moving to the next door neighbor in no time. OMG. Bloomers have these absolutely adorable birdhouses that will turn your yard into the perfect bird B&B. They carry all types of wild bird seed, suet, seed cakes, and mealworms. Bloomer stocks Lyric, Coles, CNS, Pine Tree Farms, and much, much more that will keep those beautiful birds coming back for more. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is located in Washington Township in Gloucester County. For more information and directions, check them out on the web at bloomers.com. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center, you got to see this place.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. We're talking about pests.
Really?
Yeah, we were talking about pests. We were just talking about how that, a week or so ago, that Disney was closed down for 8 hours because of a black bear wandering around.
8 hours.
Could you imagine?
No.
Oh, I'd like to see that bear meet up with some of those parents that paid all that money. They're waiting to see the fireworks at Cinderella's castle, and the bears, they tear it apart. Anyway, hey, this time of the year, all the little critters like mice and chipmunks and moles and voles, they're all storing up for the winter. And skunks are doing the same. Skunks, if you've noticed, like maybe there's more skunks along the side of the road that have been hit. They are scurrying to get their fat reserves up for the winter. So, and skunks don't necessarily hibernate. People sometimes think that they actually, they're like a bear, or that they go and they sleep for a long period of time, but it's only for really a couple of weeks, and that depends on what how cold it gets by you. They don't venture out too much when the winter weather is severe. But I'll tell you right now, and it's like putting out the trash. You better keep your eyes out.
They just stink up the place, man.
No, they do.
Yeah, watch
They
watch
do.
yourself.
Yeah.
And Julio, you still have your groundhog?
Yeah, he's still there.
You're still there? Yeah.
He's been there for years.
Mine's gone, though.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I didn't do anything.
You didn't do
I
anything?
mean, I filled the hole, but it's gone.
Yeah?
I haven't seen it in a while.
Wow.
Well,
It
when
could be there. But
When it comes to groundhogs, I mean, they're eating
like crazy.
If you have an apple tree, we're talking about Johnny Apple.
Yeah.
There's a groundhog around there eating it.
I found
Compost piles.
yeah, I found one an apple tree on my back fence of my property.
Yeah.
That's how I figured that. And I saw the apples on the ground. I said, what?
Yeah.
Deer back there, too, eating them.
Yeah.
There you go.
You got
A whole forest
animal
back
sanctuary.
Yes,
How
he
nice.
does. Look at that.
How nice. I mean, they're just gaining weight because they do hibernate. They're gonna start pretty soon. They're gonna go in their burrow. You won't see much of them, but while that's happening, they need to eat like 1.5 pounds of food a day.
Gosh, that's more than you, Len.
I tell you what, keep it up, fool. You look older. Anyway.
Yep.
That, again, groundhogs, you can use repellents. Repellents do work. Despite what you hear, February 2nd, they do not all of a sudden wake up. If you ever noticed that Tuxapony Phil, he's looking pissed off for when he gets woken up. It's like, what the heck are you doing? I'm still hibernating.
Get out of here.
So anyway, and then springtime, you'll see them. I'll tell you, if you trapping and releasing with a have a heart, Julio just flung his hand down like, nah, I'm not doing that. But there are repellents. Like I Must Garden has a groundhog repellent.
Yeah, it's better.
And it has eggs and garlic and botanical oils and things that it's just stuff that they get in their nose and they just want to get out of the area.
Yeah.
Moles are trying to find a place like and moles and voles. Now, mole is for meat eater. Okay, so moles are eating grubs and insects under the ground. Voles, V is for vegetarian. So they're the ones that are going to eat the roots of your plants, and those are the ones you really have to look out for. Either way, you want to try to get rid of them, but using, again, a repellent. Any of the castor oil treatments, your lawn, that they work. We don't really encourage poison. If you get that desperate, that's on your own. But again, the granular repellents work very well, and they mostly have like a castor oil mix in them. My thing is with chipmunks, squirrels, and mice.
Oh, yeah. Your favorite.
My favorite. Chipmunks. Look, it's Dale. What's the other chipmunk's name? Dale.
Chip and Dale. What is it? It's Chip and Dale, guys.
Chip and Dale. All right.
Alvin. The most famous one of them all is Alvin. You're talking about the Chip and Dale show.
Come on. All right,
Alvin.
Well, either way, I hate them all. Maybe that's where it started.
Giving them the wrong idea. The Chip and Dale show. Like, what?
Chip and Dale. I think Disney. You know? Anyway, we can get that's a whole other topic.
Wait. We're not going there.
No.
Not today.
No, not today. So anyway, Chip and Dale go and they eat your bird seed. They eat your grass seed. They eat my grass seed. They put holes in my grass seed. Yeah, nothing's better than when you're a retailer and you walk out to your grass seed shelf and you see a $350 bag of grass seed with a hole in it because Chip and Dale decided they were going to have lunch. Anyway, but you need to get rid of them. One of the best ways for chipmunks is that there's a repellent that works. There's also, if you have any issues like with squirrels on your bird feeder, there's a hot pepper spray that you can spray on it. And understand this, that the hot pepper that's mixed in bird seed, birds don't feel it because they have a crop when they digest food and they don't have saliva glands where a squirrel does. So when he goes and eats that hot mix, he feels it. He feels it. He's like all of a sudden,
I'm out of here.
I don't like this. Is too hot for me.
Peppered up.
That's right. One of the hardest things is that if you get mice in the house, there's a moose loose in the house. Anyway, that mice can be a problem because they're starting to look at your house and they say, look, Miami. So they're going to try to get into your house to overwinter, have a little brood of family, and that it's time to make sure that you're taking care of some of those things. That would be traps around, mouse traps, and other ways. To be honest, I use glue traps. Send your complaint mail to Julio Zamora, care of Bloomers in the Garden. They work.
They work.
I have this one drawer that my mouse end up in it. Sometime they start in I guess it's December. Wow. And all of a sudden it's like, how come they go in this one drawer? Yeah. And I think it's close to the outside wall where they have a way of getting in. I honestly, folks, I take one of those. It's a plastic lid. I don't know if it's Ziploc brand or Glad or whatever. And I put the glue trap in there with a little bit of granola bar.
Oh, you do? You like that sweet stuff?
No, I want the mouse dead.
Oh.
Sorry. At that point, I am like the hunter and that I am here to subdue the earth.
Yeah, I can see
and
that.
That's because it's pretty gross because they leave behind little jimmies.
Johnny Appleseed would not approve of that.
Sorry, Johnny. Biblically, it says that we are meant to subdue the earth.
Yeah,
okay, so anyway, that again, mice in the house. rodents, and we don't even want to go to those long-tail rats. But again, mice can be a problem. I don't like poisoning, because poisoning gets the mice where they may die between the walls of your house, and all of a sudden your house has got an aroma that is not one of those fancy candles that you're burning. So again, this is the time of the year where they want to move in, and they're looking to basically, where are we going to spend our winter? And no kidding, your house is good.
The warm spot.
It is. It's like they want to move in, thinking it's Florida. So start looking out, start preparing some things now so that you can prevent these guys from getting inside.
Yeah, that's great.
Julio, do you have any issues with mice?
No, I don't have any.
No?
Yeah.
It's because you don't eat enough.
I know.
Yeah, so anyway.
So thin?
All right. We'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix with EcoPeat is the perfect ready-to-use potting mix for all your succulents. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix is a blend of sphagnum peat moss, perlite, and EcoPeat. EcoPeat is a natural wood fiber from peat bogs. When added to Fertilome peat moss, it produces a superior professional substrate with an exceptional ratio of air porosity and water holding capacity. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix will ensure maximum drainage with ideal water retention. It's simply the best succulent mix on the market. Ask for Fertilome by name at your local garden center. Available at Daniel's Garden Center, Sumneytown Pike, Harleysville, Pennsylvania. Gasper's Home and Garden, 316 Tanyard Road, Richboro, PA. Your next houseplant is waiting for you in Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse. Bloomers recognizes that houseplant choices are as important to your interior decorating as the fabric on your couch. The right plant, paired with the perfect container, can bring a dynamic change to your home. A houseplant brings life to your world and connects your home's interior to the greater outdoors. Even a small succulent placed on your coffee table has a way of connecting your living room to the Amazon rainforest. How about an air plant in your kitchen? Looking for an indoor flowering plant to add color to your plant palette? Bloomers has a large revolving assortment of flowering beauties. From aglaonemas to ZZ plants, Bloomers Greenhouse is stocked with your next favorite indoor plant. Bloomers carries a large selection of pottery and containers to match your home's decor and make any of your plants more beautiful. Bloomers experts can help you care for your plants and have the fertilizer, insecticides, leaf shine, and specialty soils you need to grow healthy and happy indoor plants. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse and make every room in your home a living room. Visit bloomers.com for more information. That's bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Jim from North Arlington called the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and had a question about covering his garden for the winter. Listen to his call.
Hi, my name is Jim. I'm calling from Mount Arlington, New Jersey, and I do have a community plot, which is 10 by 10. Now, some people over the wintertime, they cover the plot, with either plastic or some type of black garden material or even cardboard. And I was wondering is there any advantage to doing this? Because I know the farmers don't do such a thing, the guys that have a big, big farm. So I was just wondering if you could tell me the pros and cons of covering, say, a small plot 10 by 10. And I thank you very much, and I'll be listening to you on Sunday. Have a good day.
All right, Jim.
Jim, I know you're from Mount Arlington, not North Arlington. I know. Sorry, it's a habit.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Mount Arlington is up in, I guess, Susquehanna. It's the northwest of New Jersey. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. But the whole deal with people covering their gardens is that they're trying to cut down on weeds. Right. I mean, it compacts the soil. I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think that people should necessarily do it. But what I do think is that they should plant a cover crop. It'll compete with the weeds and choke out the weeds that are under it, but it also creates a biomass that is organic and think of it as green manure that you can till back into the soil. And again, it's all about the fact that they're nitrogen-fixing plants where their roots are colonized by a certain bacteria that extract nitrogen from the air, they're the automatic fertilizer machines. Wow. And that where, again, it fixes it and it's required for the growth. And then when the bacteria are done, you till the plants in. You got to make sure that you till them in the spring before they go to seed. You got to keep an eye on that. And that there are different types. And most of them are types of legumes or like peas. For instance, you'll see cover crops where there'll be peas. I personally think that it's a better idea to plant red clover. And it is the most common, but again, it's a nitrogen fixing plant. It's fairly attractive. It's a nice plant, and it will cover and it's not as, there's some things like winter wheat, for instance, or rye, winter rye. Those are okay. Different uses. Like, for instance, winter rye it makes the soil, and it works in the soil, so it breaks up compacted soil. So that's the benefit of using let's call it a grain. So anything that sounds like a grass, like rye or oats or wheat, that it works, the root system works its way into the soil, and that it helps to basically make room in clay or heavy soil. Now, it's not going to work if it's, compacted clay, but it certainly will work in most gardens if you're using it for a garden. But again, you've got to turn it over before it goes to seed. And the whole point, we keep talking about doing it before it goes to seed, because the description of a weed is a plant in the wrong spot. And for today, those plants are a cover crop and they're helping your garden. But if they go to seed and they germinate while you're growing your vegetables, then it's a weed. Oh. So again, a tomato plant can be a weed if it's growing in the wrong spot. So again, it's something that you should do, and you'll be surprised on how well your plants will do the following year. Because again, you're adding nitrogen back into the soil, and your garden is getting the benefit of that. It's also aerating the soil, and it's really a great value. I think, is he in a community garden?
Community garden. Yeah.
He's in the community garden.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that I think all community gardens should do that.
Yeah.
Because again, they're all getting the benefit. And again, it's all about the nitrogen going back to the soil, adding the biomass of the fact that it's the green manure, and that it's something that will help each garden. And rather than throwing cardboard over top of it, there used to be something that was a soil sterilant. And this was bad. Wow. This was bad stuff, and I'm glad that it's not used any longer. But what you would do is you would spray this on the soil and cover it with plastic, and it would kill everything.
Oh, wow.
It would kill all the, like we talked about, the whole thing with all the bacteria, all of the weed seed, everything. So no mycorrhiza left. It would just kill everything, and it would sterilize the soil. And that I'm glad that those days are gone. Yeah, but using a cover crop will compete with the weeds and choke the weeds out. It'll allow you to add some organic matter back into the soil, so you don't necessarily need to use as much bumper crop. But because you're you're using, it's coming from a different source. Yeah. So you're tilling that back under. So it's a good thing. So try a cover crop, and red clover is what I would suggest. That's the best.
I'm glad Jim picked up on that.
Yeah.
He's thinking about the farmers not doing the whole thing.
Yeah, really. If the farmers aren't doing it, it's not benefiting.
It's not beneficial.
They're definitely on cutting edge.
Yeah, they are.
It's you think about a farmer. A farmer's got to be everything from a scientist to an architect to a mechanic to everything.
Weatherman.
Absolutely. Weatherman probably first.
First, right?
But in any case, try a cover crop, and I tell you what, you'll be pleased on the results for your next harvest.
There you go. And tell your friends, Jim.
That's right. All right, we'll be back in the garden right after this. Some of our most frequent questions revolve around organic container gardening for houseplants, annuals, and of course, vegetables. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend Organic Potting Soil is a lightweight soil mixture made with salmon, blueberry, lobster, and other composts, as well as calcium and chitin-rich lobster shells, sphagnum peat, perlite, and kelp meal. It is a great soil. And Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Organic Potting Soil is rich in organic material, creating lush, disease-resistant plants that require less watering, less feeding. Its rich, dark brown color provides the perfect balance between water retention and drainage needed for healthy plants. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend Organic Potting Soil is available at these local retailers.
Pickering Valley Feed and Farm, Exton, Pennsylvania. Ashcombe Farm and Greenhouses, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Espen Shades Garden Centers and Greenhouse, Lidditz, Pennsylvania. Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with the #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
Are you looking to reach an audience of over 12 million residents in the Philadelphia, Delaware Valley, and New York City Tri-State? Then consider becoming a broadcast sponsorship partner for Bloomers in the Garden. Every week on Bloomers in the Garden Radio, your products become associated with the authority in everything lawn, landscape, and garden. For more information on the Bloomers in the Garden Partnership Program, feel free to call the hotline 609-685-1880 or check out the radio tab at bloomers.com.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Hey, we received a really nice visit. Now, unfortunately, I was not there and I missed it, from a listener, Harold Kozak of Staten Island. Harold's one of our early adopters. Early adopters. He's been a caller since the beginning, and it's always about carnivorous plants.
Yeah,
he is basically an authority, at this point. And he came to this area because his son is a meteorologist for CBS, in the Philly station, CBS. Andrew Kozak.
Andrew, yeah.
Yeah, and I looked it up. I was like, there he is. There he is. There's his kid. Holy cow, look at that.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah. So, Julio, you were there and you got the
I was there.
Yeah. So you...
Yeah, he came in the afternoon with his wife, Robin, very nice lady, and they looked all the way around, and they came in, and they were so happy to be in there because they don't have anything like that around where they live in Staten Island.
Really?
And they were just impressed, Len, by just the mere fact that all the plants that we have.
Well,
and how beautiful everything looked.
That's nice to hear. I mean, Harold's been, like you said, been listening since the beginning. What is he? I mean, he now is a speaker as well?
Yes, he does speak at a garden center near him. It's called Kills Garden Club.
Speaks at a garden center or speaks at a garden club? Speaks at a garden club.
Yeah, right.
And it's Kills?
Kills, Kills.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And right near where he lives in Staten Island. And he does talks for them, and he does bring up the fact that, about us bloomers here, and we thank you.
Yeah. But what is he talking about mostly?
He's talking about carnivorous plants, which is his favorite topic.
So we're talking about pitcher plants.
Pitcher plants, yeah, he loves them.
Right.
He's got that in his
sundews.
Sundews, yeah.
Sundews, and then also like Venus flytraps.
Flytraps, yeah, all those.
Yeah, he sent you some
Sent me all
pictures.
pictures,
yeah, and he's got that phony picture of the little shop of horrors plant.
Shop of horrors, yeah.
Mixed in with his other plants. It's like, wait a minute. It fooled me for a second. I was like, wait, no. No, that's not it.
No.
Feed me, Seymour.
Oh, God.
It's pretty amazing. His son is the meteorologist
at
CBS 3 here in Philly.
Yeah, local, yeah. He's only been there since 2022, and he's doing wonderful.
Well, that's big time.
Yeah,
I mean,
time,
Philly's a huge market.
It is.
Philly's a huge market.
Yeah, good for him. Yeah, that's a great job.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So if Harold's doing talks for garden clubs, right? I mean, is he? What else is he doing? I mean, he's retired though.
Yeah, he's retired. He was a teacher and basically into astronomy. You know, and he's talked a lot for NASA. He goes all over the world for NASA and talks.
Wow.
Yeah, he's pretty advanced in that area.
It's amazing. You follow the dots where you go. Yeah. It's like, Harold call us about carnivorous plants and we answer questions and then sometimes he answered our questions, right? That where in here he's, this going over the world for NASA or what have you. And his son pops up here in Philadelphia.
Yeah. It's funny.
That is. Yeah, that is.
He showed some pictures of his carnivorous plants, but he says he had me another picture. He said, I don't just do carnivorous plants,
Oh yeah.
He showed me his garden outside, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah. What did he have growing outside?
He had some azaleas, and he had some. What else did he have? A little rocky area, like
rock garden.
Yeah, like a rock garden.
Yeah, there are more rock gardens up north and in New England area than there are South Jersey. South Jersey is just too flat. No rocks, all sand and clay.
Yeah, what's a rock? What are rocks, right?
But Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area does. I mean, you go up near Lancaster, and there's some really pretty gardens that are using the topography of their property to really accentuate their garden. Well, interesting. That's interesting.
Yes.
And that, Harold, we appreciate you coming to visit us. I mean, it was a surprise. Yes. He threatened all the time. He said, "We're gonna come. I'm gonna come and see you guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come and see you guys."
I think he's gonna come again because it's his son. His son's local, so he'll probably come down again and visit. Hopefully, when you're here.
Yeah, I wonder where his son's living. I mean, we do have some news people that live in Washington Township. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Again, Harold, thank you for coming to visit.
All the way from Staten Island.
And his wife's name is Robin?
Robin, yeah.
Yeah, Robin, thank you for tolerating the visit. All right, let's go out to dinner. Why are we going to look at plants?
Right. Poor Harold, he was talking away with plants. And, my carnivorous system. He thanked me for the advice that we gave him about the water, using distilled water, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. His plants are growing.
That one.
Yeah, his plants are growing well with that one.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Harold, keep up the good work. Yeah. And we appreciate you coming to see us. All right. We'll be right back right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
Is she gone?
Nope, she's still standing there.
What is she doing?
I think she's watching the grass grow.
That's our job.
I know, right? She's watching the grass grow, the flowers grow. Ooh, look, the trees are growing.
I can't say as I blame her. Remember where she bought all this stuff?
Duh, bought us there too.
Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Find us online at bloomers.com.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or see and hear us by subscribing to Bloomers YouTube channel. Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley every Saturday. First, wake up with us at 6 a.m. on WNWR The Word at 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. Tune in at 8 a.m. to Bloomers in the Garden Radio on Talk 860 WWDB. A rebroadcast of Bloomers in the Garden Radio is played each Saturday evening at 5 p.m. on The Word, 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard throughout the New York Tri-State Area on Classic Oldies, 1250 AM WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
See me and Julio down by the schoolyard.
Me and Julio.
Oh, I tell you what.
Cover crops.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Everybody with the garden should put in a cover crop.
Yeah.
You know,
essential.
What it'll do is it adds so much to the organic mass. In the organic, just basically divide up some of that heavy clay soil, especially if you're struggling with that. Have your garden absorb more moisture.
Yeah.
So not have
drainage.
to deal with going from wet to dry, and then cut down on blossom end rot. Because of that, again, something you should do.
Yeah.
Something you should do. Yeah. Just look out for your mice.
Oh, yeah.
I'm starting.
Mises to pieces.
That's it. I'm starting.
Yeah, I know it is.
Well, we appreciate you listening to Bloomers in the Garden. And if you have any questions about a plant, a landscape plant, a house plant, anything that you're doing that has to do with gardening, please call Bloomers in the Garden hotline, which is 609-685-1880. And you can also text us, but we prefer to get a call.
Yeah.
Let us know what station you listen to us on. Give us your question, and we'll call you back with an answer. And Julio is tenacious.
Oh, yes.
If you don't answer, he's going to call again and again.
That's right.
So you better answer that phone. And if we use your call on the air, you get a free T-shirt.
You can't beat that.
You can't beat that. I don't know.
Hey, did you know you can listen to Bloomers in the Garden anytime? Search for us on your favorite podcast platform or go to bloomers.com and visit the radio tab. And when you visit your favorite garden center, tell them you listen to Bloomers in the Garden.
Yeah, that's important. Because
is.
we try to get you to go to your local garden center.
That's right.
Let them know you heard it on Bloomers in the Garden.
Yes.
Thank you, Sam. Great job.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, you people didn't know, but we screwed up 4 times today. So we had to rewind.
Bloomers bloopers.
That's it. Aaron, great job. And listen, join us next week at the same time right here on Bloomers in the Garden Radio. We'll see you in the garden.
We'll see you in the garden.